Cahirley Gurmagat and I have the pleasure in moving this Fianna Fáil motion on establishing an affordable housing scheme. The housing crisis can be seen in every corner of this country, across the rental, social and private sector. The moral disgrace of homelessness and the unprecedented highs of the social housing waiting lists have obscured another major challenge that this government has ignored. Ordinary workers can no longer afford to buy their own homes. Home ownership, in our view, is an important part of Irish life. A safe and secure home is a building block of a strong community. Having a place to call your own is the bedrock of a stable family life. And working hard and owning the roof over your head has been an aspiration that many have realised over the past few decades. However, for an entire generation, the dream of home ownership is slipping away. While income levels have risen slowly, property prices have exploded by 90% since 2012. As the property price escalator speeds up, those left on the rental market fall further and further behind. Rent prices have surged over 25% higher than the 2008 peak, with renters in Dublin paying over half their income for somewhere to live. The current 68% home ownership rate is the lowest since 1971. The age at which home ownership became the majority tenure category was 35 years of age in 2016. And prior to that age, more households were renting rather than owning their own home. When you compare this to previous census, dating back to 1991, the ages which marked the changeover between renting and home ownership was 32 years in 2011, 28 in 2006, 27 in 2002, and 26 years of age in 1991. It is very clear, I think we all know it here, that home ownership is moving further and further away from young working people. The social contract that promises each generation a stake in their country is under strain. Yet what is Fine Gael doing to address this generational crisis? Since Fine Gael came to power 7 years ago, it has launched 6 separate housing plans and relaunched those plans countless times. And during that same period, that 7-year period, Fine Gael has not built one single affordable home. Not one. In January of this year, you, Minister, announced his 3-pronged affordable policy, each prong blunter than the last. The first was the Rebuilding Ireland Home Loan that repackages existing local authority loan schemes. However, over half the applicants, some 54%, have been refused a loan to date, while those who can get one are still competing for the same small supply of homes. And the second blunt prong was the cost rental pilot scheme. In 2015, the Fine Gael government committed 10 million to a cost rental pilot project. This was reheated in January by you this year, even though the project has yet to go to tender or have any guiding income criteria. And the third blunt failure was the Affordable Purchase Scheme. This scheme sees 25 million committed to serving state-owned land for building affordable homes in cooperation with local authorities. 6 local authorities have built no homes at all last year, and the government have failed to deliver with programmes such as repair and lease. The lack of specific targets in each area mean that this plan is doomed to fail before it even gets going, and the lack of an affordable housing scheme demonstrates the sheer incompetence and inertia that governs the department. All the while, you have not put your money where your mouth is, and despite the fanfare around the capital plan, the allocated capital budget for housing is still 24% or €225 million behind 2008 levels, and still no definition of what is an affordable home. In the face of these ballooning property prices, Fine Gael has at best engaged in token gesture policies and at worst ignored a growing chasm in the property market. Tonight's Fianna Fáil motion sets down a marker. It will reorientate government towards addressing the affordability gap that's swallowing up a generation, and that must be placed at the heart of policy. The state, and we believe the state, has a central role to play in delivering homes that someone on the average industrial wage can afford. Home ownership cannot be allowed to become the preserve of the few or the old. The next generation must get their chance to have a stake in their communities. This state owns or controls enough zoned land to build 114,000 dwellings, half of which could be affordable homes. Drawing on NAMA and local authority data, it's calculated that the state controls over 3,000 hectares of zoned land for housing across the country, some 1,691 hectares controlled by NAMA, and over 1,300 hectares controlled by local authorities. What does this mean, though? It means that over 48,000 homes could be built on council-owned zoned land and over 65,000 homes on NAMA-controlled land. We need a driving ambition to realise these lands' potential, an ambition that is sorely lacking in this government. The new state-led scheme that Fianna Fáil will propose will set specific local authority targets, establish a special purpose vehicle to finance it, along with state capital investment and reinvesting the proceeds of sales into building further homes. It will create a small, efficient and focused housing delivery agency to monitor and deliver housing and quality, localised income thresholds to reflect different circumstances in each area, and a 50,000 unit target over a term of a government in comparison to the 10,000 in the Fine Gael scheme. 10,000 that the people know this government won't deliver based on their abject failures to date. Fianna Fáil will be pressing this government for a clear commitment on this in the upcoming budget negotiations. The state should initiate the scheme with upfront investment and with ongoing investment taking place on a sustainable off-balance sheet basis. Addressing the growing gap between homeowners and rents will be a defining challenge of this Dáil, one that will have profound, long-lasting effects. Tonight's motion is a small step towards that. It's time for your government to replace spin with bricks and mortar and get affordable homes built on the ground. Anything else will be a major social and economic failure. In conclusion, Minister, I want to ask you very clearly, when will you initiate an affordable housing scheme? When will you commence an affordable rental scheme? And when will construction commence? People do not want any more press launches, photo ops, nice colour brochures. They simply want homes to live in. Affordable homes that will provide hope for a generation condemned to out-of-control rents in Ireland. They deserve a lot better than this, Minister. They deserve a lot better than this government, and the government must act now.
Thank you, Deputy O'Brien.